Dum, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Ah, there it is. Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you've all had a super fantastic, sparkling, magical Monday. I can tell you mine has been wow. How has your day been? Has it been wow? Um, Sorry, I'm just getting ready to go out and walk Zeffy. Yeah, we kind of took a nap together. I even had the timer on. When the timer went off, we got a little lazy and just we didn't go back to sleep. We just laid there. It was awesome. Um, but today has been amazing. It has been mind blowing. Got work done this morning for a client. Then got on to the big announcements that Mailbox Power had today, and oh my gosh, did they deliver! They delivered. It was just amazing. And it has basically been nonstop. And then it was basically nonstop since that because I had to get onto the chat while they were finishing up, and yeah, it was a busy day, big announcements, busy day, lots of stuff happening. I mean, they even came out with a thing where you can take. So, say for example, if you're a landscaper or a tree trimmer or even any of the handyman trades or whatever, if you're working in a street, if you're working at a client's place, you can take their address. You can create well, first of all, you can create a card that says, hey, I was in your area working blah, 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 blah. Um, and then you can take that address where you were working and it finds the 5 nearest neighbors to send that card to. I'm so, that is so cool. So if you're like a landscaper, hey, I was working in your neighborhood, and of course you get permission from the homeowner, and we worked at this at this particular house, and wanted to know if, whatever, need a quote or whatever. You go talk to your neighbor and see how what work we did for them, and you can get the system to automatically send cards to the 5 nearest neighbors to that address. Oh, that is so cool. There's lots of ways that you could use that as well. And then they had, which I was like, okay, they thrilled me with the image auto merge where you could put a photo for the contact, you could have your photo for your account profile and your logo, and you could take the shells and put them on the card. And these shells were image auto merge shells which told you which area, whether it was the contact's photo or your logo, to be merged into these particular areas, which is really cool. Imagine for real estate putting a picture of the contact's house as their contact picture and having it come up on the front of a card or the front of a customized envelope. How much more impactful would that be? But they have taken it a step further. I'm like, how can you do this? But if you think back to the finding the nearest neighbor thing, and you take a video of the yard that you fixed, the yard that you fixed. You don't fix the yard that you landscaped, things and all of that, and you take that video and you have it on your YouTube channel, and you take the URL code for it and you put it in the URL field for that client that you did the work for. Then on the card, you can do a dynamic QR code generator, and you can put the image auto merge for the QR code on the card, and it will automatically generate a QR code for that URL that is sitting on your client's profile, and put that there. That sends them to a video that sends these 5 neighbors to that video to see the work that you did on their landscaping. That is too cool. That is so cool. But if you're a wedding photographer, think of it as if you're a wedding photographer, you put a link to your website where their photographs are held, and they already have the password. You can now send them a postcard and say, hey, your wedding photos are ready, and they just scan that QR code and they can see all their wedding videos, the videos, the photographs, all of that sort of stuff. And they can now turn around and say, they can even give you a pre-list and say, okay, when the photos are ready after we've seen them, then they can then call you and say, hey, that's really fantastic. And as part of your service, you can now send it to a pre-designated list that the bride and groom have given you for their parents, their siblings, their family members, their best friends, those who are in the bridal party, or whatever their list is made up of, grandparents, that sort of stuff. And they can now have cards go out to say, hey, we want you to see our wedding pictures and our wedding videos. Scan this QR code and go there. How cool is that? I mean, stuff like that you could do. And that was just two pieces of technology that came out. Another one is they did this awesome video on how the list builder works and how you can get very specific in the type of people you are searching for to prospect. So that was really cool to see that video. And then they brought out the latest technology, and they've created this social app for the Mailbox Power community. And because they, when Facebook went down for that little day that it was down or whatever, didn't affect me. I wasn't too okay. Yeah, I couldn't get my lives done, but I did get them done and get them recorded and put them up, so that was not a problem. I went to backup plan B, which is record it at the time and then load it when you can. So that wasn't too much of a worry for me. But think of this: if Facebook goes down again, we still have a way to communicate with our Mailbox Power community and let them know announcements and things. And we have a few people that refuse to get onto Facebook or anything like that. Now they can come and join us on the app and not miss out on any of the news that comes up with links to get to trainings and to announcements and all that sort of stuff. So it was a big day today. It was massive. And they did a phenomenal job. Oh, and then I totally almost forgot. They introduced the two new team members. One of them is a new brand ambassador who is going to be taking care of the social media side and looking after the post, which is the name of the app. So it is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be so much fun. And she is such a hoot. Felt like I'd known her forever when I met her. She just has that sparkling, outgoing personality. Yes, we mesh very. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and they brought on a new designer as well to work in the office there. And what these guys have done is wow. So it was a great presentation, and then like I said, the rest of the day was busy. By the time I got to knock off time, I was sort of like, I am so drained. I know I'm down on my water count. So I have to start drinking because I'm feeling a little dehydrated because it is a little dry today. But to go and just have a few minutes, and I set the timer. I woke up and the timer went off, but I just didn't feel like getting up. I was comfortable. I didn't go back to sleep. I was just comfortable, and I was just like, I ain't gonna go anywhere. And Zeffie's like sprawled out on her side of the bed, and she's made it. I've got a body pillow that goes down in the gap between the mattress and the side tables that we have, and so to stop her falling down into that area. That would not be good. And then she has a body pillow on top of that acts as like a buffer for her. And so she's now figured out that she can actually sleep on that area where that ditch is. And she's compressed the pillow down so much because she lays there so much that she now stretches out along that piece. And it was quite funny because I looked up and she has a pillow that's got a comforter that goes over it, and she's like got her head and her paws like this on top of the pillow, and the rest of her body is just like stretched out along the rest of her little ditch that she's got there. But yeah, so she was just so comfortable. I just looked at her and I said, do you want to go for a walk? And she didn't even lift her head or anything. She just closed her eyes. It's like, okay, we're not doing that right now. But yeah, then it was getting sort of starting to get dark, and I was like, we need to get moving. So it's still daylight out there, but we will, we're at that time of the day where we will have our reflectorized vest on and carrying our flashlight so that people can see us in that dusky, darky thing. It'll probably be dark by the time we get back. But anyway, so we're going to go out and do that, come back, have dinner, and just... Actually, I do have to do a little tidying up. We've got the AC guys coming tomorrow to fix my front AC to figure out why it's making this rattling, this really loud noise. About 5 minutes after I turn it on, it starts making this weird rattle, rumble noise, which is way louder than it should be. So because it's under warranty as well, so he's coming out tomorrow to check that out. So I just need to kind of like tidy up a little bit and and make sure that all my laundry's away and the dirty stuff's in the laundry basket where it can't be seen and all of that sort of thing. So yeah, we'll be doing a little straightening up tonight. It's not a problem. Thankfully, I've been doing sorting stuff, so we're just gonna pick up the sorting stuff and kind of make it a little neater, a little tidier, and yeah, so we can get access to you can access the AC unit and the thermostat in the bedroom. So, but anyway, how was your magic day? What magic did you get to create today? I know Mailbox Power had the big wand out today with all this magic, this technology, everything else that they got to do today was amazing. Did I tell you it was amazing? Yeah, it was. It was very super fantastic and sparkling. But anyway, I'm out of here. I got to go take a pup for a walk. Let's see, my phone. Oh, we're up to 44. Man, that was fast. I turned around and said it's on low battery, so I plugged it in while we got ready for the walk and did the live, and now it's at 44% in about 15 minutes. That's not bad. That's not bad. So anyway, go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. We'll catch you guys back here bright and early tomorrow morning for Tune Up Tuesday. Here she comes. She knows my sign off. She's right here, ready to rock and roll. You ready to rock and roll there, Zeph? Right, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hey, konara.